The pregnancy announcement that exposed everything. She glowed with excitement. "We're pregnant," she announced to my entire family. I smiled and hugged her, playing along. What she didn't know was that I'd been secretly sterile for 3 years after my cancer treatment. The DNA test was already ordered before dessert was served. I'm Marcus, 28, and I was with Sophia, 26, for 2 years, living together for 8 months. We've been trying for a baby for 6 months, or so I thought she believed. The truth is, after my testicular cancer at 24, the chemotherapy left me sterile. My oncologist was clear, less than 1% chance of natural conception. I'd planned to tell Sophia, but the timing never felt right. Then she surprised me. The big announcement. Last Sunday was my mom's birthday. Big family dinner, all my siblings, aunts, uncles, the works. Sophia had been acting strange all week, giddy, secretive, constantly on her phone. I thought she was planning something sweet for Mom's birthday. Halfway through dinner, she stood up, tapping her glass. "Everyone, Marcus, and I have an announcement." My stomach dropped. She was beaming, absolutely radiant. "We're having a baby." The room exploded. Mom started crying happy tears. Dad opened champagne. My sister Sarah immediately started planning a baby shower. Everyone was hugging us, congratulating us, asking about due dates. I played the part. Smiled, accepted congratulations, even let Dad give his "you're going to be a great father" speech. But inside I was doing math. If she was pregnant, it wasn't mine. The investigation. Monday morning, while Sophia was at her yoga class, I called Dr. Peterson, my oncologist. "Marcus, we discussed this. Your sperm count has been undetectable for 3 years. Natural conception is essentially impossible. But what if?" "No what ifs. I'm sorry, but if she's pregnant, you're not the father." That afternoon, I ordered a paternity test kit online. Express delivery. Then I started paying attention, really paying attention. Sophia's phone, usually face up on tables, was now always face down. She'd started going to yoga 4 times a week instead of 2. Her best friend Jenna, who used to come over constantly, hadn't been around in months. And those mysterious girls' nights that started 3 months ago? Always on Wednesdays. The Wednesday discovery. This past Wednesday, I told Sophia I had a client dinner. Instead, I parked outside her yoga studio. Class ended at 7 p.m. By 7:15, everyone had left. No Sophia. I drove to her usual coffee shop, the mall, even Jenna's apartment. Nothing. Finally, at 9:30, I parked outside our building and waited. At 10:45, an Uber dropped her off. She was glowing, hair slightly messy, wearing a dress I'd never seen. "How was yoga?" I asked when she came in. "Intense. Really worked up a sweat." She headed straight for the shower. Her phone buzzed on the counter. Text preview showed. "Can't wait for next wed. Preview ends." The confrontation set up. Thursday, I suggested we go out to celebrate the pregnancy. "Let's go to Antonio's. Make it special." She loved that place. Friday evening, 7 p.m. reservation. I'd spent the day preparing. The paternity test kit hidden in my jacket pocket, not to use yet, but as a reminder of the truth. I'd also done something else, hired a private investigator. Cost me $800, but I needed to know everything. Sophia wore a flowing dress, kept touching her still flat stomach, talking about nursery colors. I'm thinking soft yellow. Gender neutral. "How far along did the doctor say you were?" I asked casually. 8 weeks. Due in March. She was radiant, playing the part perfectly. I nodded, doing the math again. 8 weeks ago, I was out of town for my company's annual conference. Sophia had stayed home, said she was feeling sick. The photos. Over appetizers, my phone buzzed. Text from the PI. "Check your email. Urgent." I excused myself to the bathroom. The email contained a series of photos from last Wednesday. Sophia entering a downtown apartment building. Sophia in the lobby, kissing a man I didn't recognize. Sophia leaving the same building 2 hours later. But the final photo was what made my blood run cold, the building directory, showing apartment 4B, C. Rodriguez. Carlos Rodriguez. Her ex from college, who she claimed she hadn't spoken to in years. The same Carlos who'd been texting her congratulations about the pregnancy before we'd even told our families. The revelation. Back at the table, I sat down calmly. "Sophia, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be completely honest." She looked nervous. "What's wrong? You seem upset. Is there anything you need to tell me about this pregnancy?" "What do you mean?" But her hand instinctively moved to her stomach, protective. I pulled out my phone, showed her the photo of her kissing Carlos. Want to try that again? The color drained from her face. Marcus, I can explain. 8 weeks pregnant, which means conception happened while I was in Chicago. Except you weren't sick at home, were you? She started crying. Real tears this time, not the happy pregnancy tears. It's not what you think. What I think is that you've been seeing Carlos for months, got pregnant, and decided I'd make a better father than he would. He's not ready for kids. He's still figuring his life out. But you'd be such a good dad. The audacity was breathtaking. So you thought you'd just trick me into raising another man's child? It would be your child. Biology doesn't matter. You'd love them. Based on a lie. Built on deception. I stood up. I can't have children, Sophia. Cancer treatment 3 years ago. Made me sterile. Her face went white. What? So either this is a medical miracle, or you've been cheating on me with Carlos and thought you could pass his baby off as mine. The meltdown. Sophia's carefully constructed story fell apart in real time. First came denial. You never told me you couldn't have kids. Then anger. You've been lying to me for 2 years. Then bargaining. We can make this work. We both love each other. We can raise the baby together. Finally, the truth. Carlos doesn't want it. He said he'd pay for an abortion, but I want this baby. I want a family. Just not with the actual father. You'd be a better father than him. You have a good job, you're stable, you're kind. I'm also not the father. And now, I'm not your boyfriend either. I left money for dinner and walked out. The aftermath. The next morning, Sophia was gone when I woke up. Left a note, gonna think. Need space. We can work this out. She'd also left her laptop open, always a mistake. Her email was full of correspondence with Carlos going back 4 months. Hotel receipts, dinner reservations, even a pregnancy scare from 2 months ago that turned out to be false, but this one was real. The most damaging email was from last week. Marcus is so excited about the baby. He'll never suspect anything. This could work out perfectly for everyone. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. The family fallout. Sunday, I had to tell my family the truth. Mom took it the hardest. But she seemed so genuine. So happy. She was happy. She thought she'd found the perfect solution to her problem. Dad was furious. That girl manipulated our entire family. Sarah, ever practical, asked, what about Carlos? Does he know you know? Not yet, but he's about to. The Carlos confrontation. Monday afternoon, I showed up at Carlos's apartment. He answered the door in a robe, clearly expecting Sophia. You're Marcus. He had the decency to look ashamed. And you're the real father. Look, man, I never meant for this to happen. Sophia said you guys were having problems. What problems? We were planning to move in together permanently. She said you were controlling, that you didn't want kids. The lies kept multiplying. I've wanted kids my entire adult life. The cancer treatment took that option away. Carlos sat down hard. Cancer? She never mentioned cancer. Because she didn't know. I was going to tell her after we got engaged next month. Engaged? His face went pale. She said you guys were casual. That you probably wouldn't even care if she was seeing someone else. She's been living in my apartment for 8 months. We split groceries. She has a key. Oh God, I'm so sorry, man. I had no idea. The ultimate betrayal. The conversation with Carlos revealed the depth of Sophia's deception. She'd been telling him I was emotionally unavailable and probably cheating. She'd told me he was ancient history. She'd manipulated both of us perfectly. But Carlos surprised me. I want to do right by this kid. If she's really pregnant with my baby, I'll step up. Even though you said you weren't ready. I wasn't ready for the responsibility. But I can't let her trick you into it. That's not fair to anyone, especially the kid. The confrontation. Wednesday, her usual yoga day. I was waiting in Carlos's apartment when she arrived. The look on her face when she saw us both was priceless. We need to talk, Carlos said. About what? She tried to play innocent. About how you told me Marcus was controlling and didn't want kids, while telling him I was out of the picture, and this baby was his. She sat down slowly. You don't understand. I love you both. Just differently. You love security, I said. I represented stability. He represented excitement. You wanted both. Is that so wrong? To want someone who could provide for a child and someone who makes you feel alive. When it involves lying to everyone. Yes. The resolution. Carlos stepped up, told Sophia he wanted to be involved, wanted to co-parent, but not with her. I'll support my child, but I can't be with someone who lies this easily. Sophia tried one last manipulation. Fine. I'll tell everyone Marcus isn't the father. Your family will be heartbroken. I already told them. They're disappointed in you, not me. She moved out the next day. Went to stay with her sister, in another state. Carlos and I, surprisingly, stayed in touch. He's a decent guy who got manipulated too. The baby was born in March, a healthy girl who looks exactly like him. He's a good father, trying to co-parent despite Sophia's continued drama. As for me, I met someone new. Elena, a social worker who understands that families come in all forms. She knows about my medical situation, and we're exploring adoption together. Real honesty from day one. Sophia occasionally tries to reach out, usually when she needs something. The last message was asking if I'd be a backup godfather, because you always wanted kids anyway. Some people never learn. But I learned something valuable. When someone can lie that easily to someone they claim to love, they're not the person you thought they were. The pregnancy announcement that should have been our beginning became the revelation that saved me from a lifetime of deception. Not anymore, Sophia. Not anymore.